this wine tasting trip, we went to the islands of Greece, and we went specifically to Santorini, and we flew into Athens and then took a Sky Express 1 hour flight down to Santorini, and then we took the fast sea jet up to Paros, and then at the end of the trip, we took the slow, larger ferry up to Athens, which is a 4 hour trip back. And on the way over, this was about the 10-hour flight going from Dulles all the way to Athens. And then once you arrive in Athens, we switched over to Sky Express, or there's another Aegean Air. They have pretty much flights on the hour, so you can pretty much grab a flight from Athens over to Santorini anytime throughout the afternoon, and that's just about an hour flight over. So in the island of Santorini, there is the airport that we flew into, and then right next to the airport is Gaia Winery, just on the other side of the runway. And I'll show you that visit in just a second. And then we chose to go over to a hotel called the Thermes Luxury Villas and stayed in a cave pool room. And you'll see a lot of sunset views there. Then we made the trip up to Oya, which is the classic town of the blue domes and the whitewashed buildings. Had lunch there, and there's a marker there for a place that we had lunch, so you can kind of avoid the crowds and just get in and sit down at the table and take all your pictures that you want, because it overlooks the blue domes and the whitewashed buildings. And then we went to Sigalas on the way out. That's a winery. Had a tasting there, and we'll take you through that. And then we drove all the way back to Red Beach. So we were alternating wineries and beaches, wineries and activities. And then we went from Red Beach up to, actually went Venetsanos Winery. We did this in reverse. We actually went to this one here first, the Santorini Wine Museum, and then came back and went to the Venetsanos, which is on the side of the cave. Those are the other wineries that we missed. It's Artemis and Santo Wines. So Santo Wines overlooks the ocean, and Artemis has a very high review, so worth trying out. Gaia Winery was our first winery. So right off of the airplane, we went to get the rental car, which is right in about that area, and then we drove back around the runway, which is a total of about 10 minutes to get back there to Gaia Winery. And they closed at 8 o'clock. We arrived just about 7, and they said their last tasting was going to be at 7:15, so they really didn't want to start one. You could see people were wine tasting right there at 7 o'clock. So they didn't want to start an official tasting. So what we did is we bought 2 of their standard Acertico, the white, compared the 2 whites, and then we bought 2 reds, and we actually bought the reds from the mainland. They were a little less expensive, and then we went ahead and bought their Gaia estate. So you can see their tastings. You can do a walk-in here, or you can schedule it. It looks like they've got enough people to handle the walk-ins. Oh, that was the white that we tasted. It was Bassalicitis. And then this was a mix of, this is what I had, the Acertico and the Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, how would you describe?
Yeah, it was dry and tart.
Thalassides.
Yeah, dry and tart, but with fruit.
Fruit.
Fruit flavor. I mean, because I think you're right. It is kind of a sharp melon.
I get a melon.
It's
a different melon.
Yeah, it's not a honeydew. No, it's not a cantaloupe. It's a honeydew. Honeydews are green.
That's the Thalassides, and I get a mango flavor, and then mine, I had the.
Oh, and there is a lime taste in this one.
You get lime, a little bright lime, and it's mild. It's mild, so it's not really tart, not acidic, but still nice. I had the mainland Aceritico and Sauvignon Blanc combined, just for a glass, and that is a classic Sauvignon Blanc. It's very good. I like it.
That's good.
Grown here, or is it
from the mainland?
Oh, from the mainland. Okay.
Ayurvédico. Also, yes, of course, but this is a blend of Ayurvédico with Syrah.
So we're tasting the Gaia estate from the mainland.
And that was the cheaper one. This was the expensive one.
The estate is $12 a bottle. I mean a glass.
Oh.
$30 a bottle.
Oh, that's this one.
And
that's
then
one.
it's
that's
the
a $5 one.
Yeah, that's the $5. It's called the Notius Red, and it's Ayurvédico and Syrah blend.
Yeah, and this
$9
is
a
all
bottle.
Ayurvédico. We'll have to look that grape up.
And the Gaia is all Ayurvédico.
And it's all being grown on volcanic rock.
Yeah, and definitely the Gaia estate is the better wine. The red blend is I would say it's just below a table wine. I mean, it's okay. It would be fine.
If you chill it, drink it outside on a hot day, it'd be great.
Right. It's almost like they're not their best grapes, but they're blending it to try to make it better than it is.
Well, blends are
good.
some of my favorites.
And then what did we say? The Gaia estate from the mainland. I liked it on the very first. Aroma is good. You've got leather, dark woods, red peppers, blackberries. The aroma is really nice. But I did get a little bit of a metallic taste on the second sip.
So next up was headed over to the hotel. So we left Gaia Winery, drove around the airport, and then we crossed over to Thermes. And I'm just highlighting here, Oya was our plan for the next day. Fira was kind of the town that this Thermes hotel is in, but we were a little bit remote over here. It was probably about a 20-25 minute drive to cross the mountains to get to the Thermes Luxury Villas. We paid a little bit more than what was on the screen, but this turned out to be a really, really nice place. And we selected it because it was closer to the Venetsanos Winery and the Santos Winery.
I know.
We have the whole thing.
These old people coming for the sun.
And the setting was ideal. It was picturesque.
We are at the Thermes.
Catch it, honey. Catch it.
I'm trying. I'm turning the corner. Yep. This is the cave pool suite.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's a pool in our room.
Goes straight down. I don't know if we're gonna. Oh, there's a trail down there. No, I don't know if that's a trail. Oh yeah, there is. There's a walkway down.
We can do that in the morning.
So this may be Thermes or Therme. I'm not sure of the pronunciation, but I'll stick with Thermes. And the pool was inside. It was probably about 78 degrees. It was comfortable to swim around in the pool. And it was very private because the other 5 suites were up top above you, and then you were across the road down below. And so you've got the privacy, plenty of space. So this is the Thermes pool. Spinning around the living room.
Happiness
We
is.
have our American breakfast and our Greek breakfast and pastries out in front of our.
Yep, all just served to us.
And we're sitting right here, overlooking the ocean.
Eat it.
Pretty nice.
In the morning, we went to Oya. So we drove, and at that hotel, the Thermes or Thermes, you do need a car. I wouldn't try public transportation. So we took the car, drove up to Oya first because we wanted to see the whitewashed buildings and these blue domes, and there were quite a few people. This is the beginning of August, and it is busy, busy, busy. So there are lines everywhere. There's crowds. You can see all these folks are coming down to take pictures and stand, and then there were lines to take pictures. So we picked a restaurant called Lazzi, and that was right in the downtown area. There were plenty of tables. Don't go in and say you want drinks, say you want to eat, and then just have your appetizer or whatever, and then you'll get a nice place and a nice view to take pictures, which worked out very well because then we didn't need to stand in lines. And then we parked in a parking lot. I think it was 14 euros to park for the day. Here are these groups of tourists that come off the boats, the cruise ships, and they've got groups of 20 people, and here are people photographing each other. So we went to the little shopping stores and enjoyed it, and you will too. It's a wonderful city. But we were on our way to wineries, and so this was our first stop just to make sure we captured the local feel of the whitewashed buildings in the town. So then off we went to Sigalas. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, and I didn't ask, but I think it's Sigalas, Domain Sigalas, which is right near Oya, and a very popular place for the locals or people that are staying in Oya. So you can see this, Oya is up near the top, and then you'll see the winery is just maybe 10 minutes away. And because it's so close to Oya, it looks like people were getting reservations. We went there at 11 a.m., and so we were the first ones walking in, but it looked like they were getting all prepared for people to come and wine taste. So you take your chances on this. You can walk in, probably want to get a reservation set so you can get to one of these tables. So here's our wine tasting.
I didn't even notice those.
So here we are at Sigalas. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the 40 euro tasting, and we just walked in, and we're going to taste these three whites together: the Santorini, Seven Villages, Caballero.
Are you okay?
And then for the red, we're going to taste the Mavrotagano against a glass of the MM 2023. So that way we have the three whites tasted side by side, the two reds they have, and then this Venetsanos, which is a sweet wine. We'll just finish that one up at the very end.
Island, and all from this winery, meaning the same people are making those wines. The differences are the vintage and the methods we use, and the most important, the story behind each wine. To start off, we're having Santorini, the more important wine for this island. I don't think they will allow you to leave the island before trying this one. They won't give you your boarding pass. It has the name Santorini because it's so important to us. For Santorini, we're having 100% Assyrtiko, like I mentioned, but this one is a very young, fresh wine, meaning here you get the characteristics of the variety. Assyrtiko, being the most popular variety, covers 80% of the vineyards, gives you definitely some characteristics. That's why people planted it a lot. It has a lot of aromas like lemon, lime, especially when it's a bit older, and then you will find a lot of acidity. You don't really get those petroleum taste that some other varieties gives, and so this is perfect as a variety for blending into wines, and this is why it gained traction in Greece as a variety, because it's perfect whenever there's not a lot of acidity in a variety. They would just add in Assyrtiko, it will give you the acidity without aromas, so it's perfect. But here on the island, it gives us more of the characteristic it's missing in other places, and it takes the characteristics of the island as well. We're having a lot of minerality in the wine, like the volcanic soil, and salinity, like the seawater. So the wine tastes like Santorini, the island in the glass, hence the name, Santorini.
Perfect.
This is the 2025 vintage, our newest one. This one you can enjoy it even after 7 to 10 years.
Oh.
It's perfect for aging. Right now I like it by the glass or with some light appetizers. Later, within the 2-3 years range, you can have it with fishes, seafood just in general, and then after you hit that 5 to 7 mark, you can even start enjoying it with meats even. So you definitely have a lot of options, and regarding the time, you will get almost a different wine each time. That's the magic of Assyrtiko Santorini. 14% alcohol on this one. On the side we're having Caballeros. Caballeros is our more premium wine. This is one of our highlights as a winery, and this is my favorite wine personally. For Caballeros, we're having one of the vineyards on the island with the name Caballeros, harvesting the grapes 100% from there. And here again, we're having 100% Assyrtiko. So we are expecting to taste and smell this similar to the first one. But now we leave the wine for 18 months in the stainless steel tanks with the fine lees. You know what fine lees are?
No.
They are the dead skin cells of yeast that after fermentation they live like a sediment on the bottom of the tank.
Oh.
And they are full of protein, and so they leach that protein into the wine, and it gives us a fuller character to the taste. Plus, as I say, the wine has relaxed for 18 months in its house. Whenever we're home, we wear pajamas, we watch weird shows, we act weird, but we are our true selves. The same goes on for the wine. It brings out all its full glory.
Right.
This one you can keep it for more than 10 years actually. I actually suggest leaving it. If you find the newer vintage 2024, you're having the 2023, I recommend just leaving it for about a year.
Okay.
So it can turn a bit more full like we want. It goes amazing with meats, and I'm even talking later for barbecue meats, like you would do for the red wine.
I see.
2023, 14.5% alcohol, which is quite high, so at this point I recommend food to kind of like take away some of the alcohol content. And we're having 7 villages on its side. Again, the same rules apply. Assyrtiko 100% from Santorini. This one is the story out of all of the wines. While the rest have this technique behind them, this one has a story. For 7 villages, it was an experiment by this winery. We wanted to see the differences wine had regarding where you planted the grapes. Right now it doesn't really give us a lot of information, but when originally the experiment took place, we were able to see the differences. So for each part of the island we have some different characteristics. Let's say where we are right now, close to Ia, the heat here is a bit different than the rest of the island. It's a bit more hot with less of the humidity that we typically get, which means here the grapes were more sugary, as we would say, and so they had more alcohol as a wine. You can definitely feel it in the back of the throat, the alcohol in that one. On the other side of the island, we have a lot of winds. It's a windy place, meaning there the grapes are cooler, meaning aromatic wine instead. The one you're tasting right now, it is Pyrgos Village. If you want to start smelling them, by the way, to get an idea of the wines. For Pyrgos Village, it has...
So our results are, this was the first one, which was the Santorini, which is brighter, acidic, melons, pears, nice aroma. This was the most expensive one. As number 2 was the Caballeros, something like that. Anyhow, that was like $92 a bottle. And that one is milder. You can taste kind of the, I mean, it's softer. It's got a more of a barrel flavor, and just a milder flavor. You know, kind of attuned towards a Chardonnay. And the 7 Villages has a lot more alcohol. The 7 Village was the last one. So I think the Santorini was the 62. Do I have that right? The Santorini was the $62 one. The 7 Villages is a $74 one. And Lynn and I said that would be number 3. And we kind of, these two are, this would be kind of a restaurant and drinking wine. The middle one, which is the Caballeros. And the Santorini, I would say, is more of a sunny, out there, having a nice drink by the pool or by the beach. Bright and acidic.
Earth wines with the red grapes instead of actual red wines. The island's way too hot. We originally didn't have any meats. We have a lot of tomato sauces, but they were very light, and so the natural option was just white wine. And a lot of the red grape varieties people used to throw away.
Oh.
Specifically, Mavrotragano was one of those. Mavrotragano grows terribly. It's one of the worst varieties to grow. It doesn't want to grow, basically. And like when it's time for harvest, half of the grapes will be green and the other half red, meaning if you want to harvest the whole bunch, you have to choose the ones that are enough black in order to harvest it, otherwise you just leave it on the vine, and that means they get overripe, and then you have you can throw those bunches away. So it's terrible. It doesn't grow very well, not on the island, nor in other places, unfortunately. And so they just throw it away. But the thing is that when you do that, you lose a bit of the characteristics that it gives us. And for Mavrotragano, people didn't like it at all. And that was the same because right now we figure out it was one of the best red grape varieties we have. Although it doesn't want to grow, when it does, it gives us amazing characteristics. You will find to the wine it has a lot of black fruit aromas, plums, prunes, you find some cinnamon, you find some tobacco as well, and to the taste it's very balanced. It has both acidity, minerality, tannins, all equal to each other. So this wine has aging potential, has character, thankfully.
Does it grow every year, or is it just so there's only years that it grows and then you have a harvest?
It grows every year,
Yeah.
but this is the Mavro Dragon that I'm talking about. Right now we are for harvest, ready for harvest, right? You find so many red bounces and then you have one green, all green. So it does not want to grow.
I see.
And when we want to harvest the grapes as a commercial winery, you have to do it at specific times because you have specific people working for you. And that is not in our best interest of having them grow in different times.
Yeah.
The same can happen for the bounces. Like there's a bounce over there that has half of the grapes that are red and the other 3 with 1 year of barrel aging and 14.5% alcohol. On the side, we're having Mimi and M. We have 2 grape varieties, both starting with the letter M, hence the name. One is Mavrotragano and the other is Mandilaria. Mandilaria is the most popular red variety. As I mentioned, on the island we didn't grow a lot of red grapes until some French people decided to start experimenting and see if they want to grow a bit more red grapes, because it was the time of phylloxera where the whole European Union, well, at the time was not the European Union, but half of Europe vineyards were destroyed. The island is so terrible to live in, not even the bugs arrived though. And so for us they tried to plant some of the red grape varieties to make the red wines. Mandilaria was the best decision, mostly because it was already planted on the island. It's quite popular around Greece, so they can gather from other islands as well the variety and call it a day. But it has some problems as a variety. It has a lot of acidity, a lot of minerality, but the body really isn't there. It is a bit more smooth, and so it doesn't give out wines that are meant to be kept for long, unfortunately. Or if you place them a lot into the French oak barrels to lower the tannins it has, it will take away any of the aromas it has, and that doesn't smell good for this variety, unfortunately, either. So we decided on doing the 2 varieties together to keep the aromas of the 2 varieties with 1 year of barrel aging, to have the body from the Mavrotragon and keep the acidity and tannins from Mandilaria.
What's the blend? Is it 50-50?
50-50. At some points it was different, like 75.
Okay, so we just finished tasting these 2. One is called the M&M from 2023. That's on the left. It's $41 a bottle, and that is Mavrotragano and Mandilaria combined, 50-50%. Sorry about the pronunciation, but that's the $41 bottle. And then this one was the Mavrotragano 2023, $86 a bottle.
And that's just one grape, not a blend.
And that's just one grape. And this one is definitely oakier, richer, complex, barrel tasting, dry, nice wine. This one has the same, because it has the same grape, you can taste it at the very end, but because it's mixed with the Mandilaria.
Well, it starts off tasting good and then it disappears.
And then disappears, right.
Yeah.
It just disappears from your mouth, and then you have a little bit of the Mavrotragano that remains. Our choice was this one.
So after that wine tasting, then we drove back down to the southwest, and went to Red Beach. Now, Red Beach has a parking area that you can just park your car, and if you have to park up the street, you can get these little shuttles, or you can take their little taxi boat and pay for the taxi boat to get you there. Now, you do need to climb after you park your car, and it is packed. There are lots of cars. You're just finding a place that won't give you a ticket and everything. So just get into one of the parking lots, and then you grab your stuff. We brought some water and our blankets, and Lynn had a little floaty. The beach is a little bit rocky. It's red because it's got the coral red. There's one of the little taxi boats that'll take you to Red Beach, and then around the corner, the point over there is White Beach. We didn't go, but this was easy. I mean, people were, had their towels 5 feet away from us. So, you didn't really have a whole lot of space. It was just people after people. And then as we got to the afternoon, things were quieting down a little bit, but we stayed there, I guess it was an hour, hour and a half. And then we journeyed over to the Santorini Wine Museum. So from Red Beach, you can see is down in the lower left. And then we cross the island. It's pretty much going back to the airport. So you go back to the airport and you see the Santorini Wine Museum there. And this, you definitely need to get some tickets because they won't let you in. And then they orchestrate it with they give you a little hearing box, a radio, so you can press the number and listen to the history as you walk through the museum. And that museum walk could take you 45 minutes to an hour if you want to read a lot. It's very, very informative. And then they'll sit you at the bar or perhaps a table for a formal tasting. And it's pretty formal. That's why I say you really need to get a reservation, and you can do the reservation same day, which is what we did. We were just reserving and then driving on over. So as you walk down into the museum, you get the history of this winery, and it's quite extensive, very informative. You can look at all the different attempts at wine pressing and wine making, and as they grew and developed over time.
Welcome to the Koutianopoulos' unique underground museum. Package from the personal files of the Koutianopoulos family. In the year of 1870, the Koutianopoulos brothers Grigoris and Dimitris arrived in Santorini en route from the impoverished area of Molai in the prefecture of Laconia. Their boat was headed for Styros, which was in its commercial heyday. However, powerful west winds forced the boat to dock in Santorini, where the brothers disembarked. Venetsanos is produced from sun-dried grapes, which are left to dry on roofs or in yards for about 2 weeks. About 5 kilos of grapes are needed to produce 700 grams of it. This unique wine is aged in large wood barrels. The pomace, which is full of grape sugar, which cannot be completely removed.
So after the wine museum, then we sat at the bar and had a wine tasting with 4 wines and the Venetsanos. And they swapped one of them, which this is the one that we really liked. I've got a write-up or a talking point on it in just a second. This one was okay. It was just the color, Sigalas Winery. And this is the one they swapped out, thinking that we liked a stronger variety. But
a little earthy aromas.
so we bought this bottle from the wine museum, and this is a 2023 PDO, which is really good. This is the best one we've had, and it was kind of expensive. It's the Acertico, and so we had multiple Acerticos. This one is the brightest, and it's acidic, and if you like that style, more of a grapefruit, tart kind of flavor, then this is the one for you. The other ones that we tried we're not super fans of from all the other different wineries, but this one was definitely good. This was $45, so a little bit too pricey for a regular bottle, but we did buy one just to make sure that we were right in our tasting while we were there at the winery. So our last winery was the Venetsanos Winery, and this one we walked right in, and they welcomed us in. The turn into the winery is a little bit tight, so just be careful as you drive in and drive out. So if you start from the Wine Cave Museum, which you can see right there in the red dot, and then you come back over the hill, then you'll see the Venetsanos, and you also pass Santos Wines. But this one overlooks the cove, but you can't see the port itself because it's hidden around to the left. But it overlooks the port, and it overlooks the road where the trucks and the cars are going up and down the side. So it's a beautiful view, which you'll see in just a second. So this is the entrance at the top. It's not, it's not a huge mansion. You're walking in and you're walking downstairs right into the winery. And it does have the sunset view, so you can, at the end of the day, right there to the right is open terrace. So if they do close, I think they closed at 8 o'clock, but they'll let you take your bottle and drink right from that terrace and watch the sunset. So we'll go ahead and just take you in to the winery. Coming into Venetsanos Winery. We did not set up a reservation, we just came straight in. Ooh, this is steep.
A richer body as well, and they soften down the high acidity of the variety. They also trigger the smoky side of a Certico, which is technically the minerality of the blend.
And since this was one of the original, or probably the original cliffside wineries, so you could have the view overlooking the harbor. It was quite relaxing. You could see there was nobody next to us at this table. On the other side, there was just a couple of ladies drinking individual glasses of wine, and we had their snacks that came along with the tasting. And we watched. You can see the road there. That was the road that goes down to the port. And so we were watching actually trucks unload with gravel. And there's a cruise ship way over in the corner that's parked, and they're probably just there for the weekend or 2 days. And there's also Santos Winery, which we didn't go to, but it's just a little bit up the hill from where we were.
The Certico, Aidani, and Mandalorian. Just in the second rosé, we have a little bit more of Mandalorian. Mandalorian is the red grape variety. That's why we have a deeper color. So, fun fact: we have Mandalorian, single varietal red aged dry wine made of the Mandalorian grape variety, which covers the full percent of the vineyards. Mandalorian is a lighter red wine than the normal ones.
We finished the wine tasting probably about 7:30, 7:45. They suggested to go up on the terrace and watch the sunset. We knew we had a beautiful sunset back at our hotel room, so we went back to the hotel room, enjoyed the evening, and in the morning dropped off the rental car and then took a taxi over to the port, and that is our ferry, the high-speed ferry that goes to Paros.